on record, two things.
Sure.
The first thing, you're no longer a part of Operation Dudula.
No, I'm not.
But you are the president of Soweto Parliament.
Yes.
And maybe before we continue, what is the role of Soweto Parliament? What do you guys do?
Yeah.
What is your mandate?
So, Soweto Parliament is an institution that has put together industry in Soweto, various industries in Soweto, the taxi industry, the political side, all the councillors are part of Soweto Parliament, all the hostels are part of Soweto Parliament. So I managed to unify Soweto, to unite Soweto and say that we have a platform. Whenever we have problems that are beyond the councillors who are in politics, problems that are beyond the taxi industry, what do we do as the people? Because no one is coming to save us. We can't rely on a politician or the government all the time. What do we do for ourselves? And that's what, in just layman terms, what Soweto Parliament is. And we've got Parliament sits where the leaders of all these institutions and industries in Soweto and communities come, and we go over issues. For example, one of the issues that we went over was the electricity issue. Guys, what do we do? And everybody voted, said, let's pay. Let's get Soweto to start paying for electricity, because there's no way we can consume so much electricity and not pay for it. But what's the payment method? Let's have a flat rate, because we understand the economical side of our people and what affects them and how much they have and affordability and. So that if each house pays a flat rate of 100 rands in Soweto, we'll collect what Eskom, in 3 months, we'll collect what Eskom couldn't collect since 94. In just 3 months. So do you see that when people come together, they can be more progressive than institutions that are billion rands worth? Just people coming together is power. So we are spearheaded and we are fueled by the people's power, not by institution power, people's power. So when we say that we are holding the mayor accountable that is the people's power. That's why you saw me and the leadership organize the biggest march in Soweto since Tsetse Mashinini. Biggest march coming out of Soweto to go to the mayor's office, Dr. Mpopalat. We've never seen a march like that, where there's hundreds, even thousands of Bokoko, and there's someone who's 6 months old in the march, and you can count them. Hundreds of kids, hundreds of mothers carrying their kids going to a march, Bokoko, and students and youth and. Come on, you've never seen that in Soweto. And I'm not boasting. I'm showing you the importance of unity and the magic we've managed to achieve in uniting our people for a common cause. And that's exactly what Soweto Parliament is. Now,
I like that on record you said it here on camera. You're no longer a part of. He's no longer a part of Operation Dudula.
Sure.
You are the president of Soweto Parliament. Sure. I'm glad that you are clarifying your mandate.
Yeah.
And what you guys are about.
So let me also do this.
Yeah.
LUX, the person, was actually never part of Operation Dudula. Soweto Parliament, the institution, was in an MOU and an understanding with Dudula to operate together. So I, being the leader of Soweto Parliament, then took that role of leading the agreement. So if the agreement was still on as we speak, then DJ Sbu tomorrow, Soweto says, LUX says is not available for leadership in the next conference. When we said we're now voting for DJ Sbu, and DJ Sbu is now the president of Soweto, you would then assume that role. It had nothing to do with me personally. But to be honest with you, I believe in a lot actually I believe in everything we're fighting for, to prioritize and put South Africans first in South Africa, no problem. And that doesn't mean anyone is xenophobic. It doesn't. If there's anyone in this lifetime, even before, I don't recall history it's suggesting anything of this nature, what I'm about to say, but maybe people can correct me. All our politicians, South African politicians, have had a lot to say about the wars happening in Africa, but took no action. But I don't blame them. I'm not surprised, because what action are they taking in their own country? It's close to nothing. It's fine. LUX, in January last year, 2022, went to Ethiopia to go physically be part of a war in the Tigray conflict, to help an African country against Western forces, AK in hand the whole time. And all of you listening here, while I was celebrated in many African countries, headlining their newspapers as young people in Africa making a difference taking the African continent forward, fighting for this continent. In my own country, I was labeled xenophobic. Same week, same time.
I guess that's why also the message was clouded, where people are saying, but he's in Ethiopia, but he's fighting against foreigners.
Yeah.
As you clarified it earlier, that
Yeah.
illegal foreigners,
Yes.
undocumented
Yes,
foreigners.
yes.
And hence the reason for you to pull out of Operation Dudula.
Yes.
Was that also a mandate from the ground forces of Soweto Parliament?
Yes, it was also a mandate. I called an emergency meeting with the executive, and I said, from a deep analysis, do you see what's going on? We are going to be perceived as people who are advocating for the nonsense that's saying that all foreigners, and we are going to be perceived. History will judge us at some point and say that you guys wanted to isolate yourself from us as Africa when Africa had a problem, and when it was never the case. When in actual fact, we are the people that are going deep in Africa, fighting wars to save this continent. Ethiopia being the only country in this continent called Africa that was never colonized. How dare we allow it to be subjected to war by Western forces? Ronald Tatazeli, we don't subscribe to any system that is controlled by overseas people or anything. But again, we suffered the most. Why? Because the West and everyone, global powers, then realized it's Antonia speed. But in any case, we can, in the media in his country is already being sponsored to make him look like a villain. And people, because they are gullible, because our people are just gullible. The media says this, they take it as gospel truth. And yeah, so they worked on that and they started wanting to change the narrative, LUX, in the African continent. But you can't lie to people who've seen my work. You can't. You can lie to those who've heard about my work. You can change their mind because the mind is there to be changed anyway. But the ones that have experienced my work, you are lying.